Hello, today we're going to be going over the coach with you. We're going to be starting up front here. Pretty much up front, you're going to have your 7-way adapter. It's going to generally plug into your trek bed plug. They'll give you a lot of extra cord for that. And then this guy here is where you can store it. This is where it will plug in. Right here we're going to have our battery disconnect. Pretty much when you're not using the camper, you're going to turn this guy and pull it out. It's going to disconnect the coach. So nothing, if anything was left on, nothing will drain the battery on you. When this is in the on position, when you are towing the vehicle plugged into Sure Power, it will be charging that battery for you. Inside here is going to be an extra option. If for some reason the camper is dead, you can hook up here with the jumper cables and then hook them up to your vehicle and be able to operate the jacks. It's going to be these guys here. I'm going to show you how to operate those here in just a short time. Right here off to the side, we're going to have our fresh water connection. This is pretty much gravity fed. You're just going to stick the hose in and let it fill. The drain is located underneath. The handle to open the drain is going to be located inside. I will show you that once we have stepped inside. Down below is going to be our city water connection. With this, you always do want to make sure you have a pressure regulator on the water spigot. From there, your options of an inline water filter, and then the drinking hose, white or blue, and it's going to feed into here. There, you're going to turn it on. You're going to be pretty much ready to use the water in the coach. These guys here are going to be the vents for the refrigerator. There is really nothing you have to do in here. The only thing you would maybe do is take this off to check for mud dauber nests. Other than that, usually it's maintenance only behind these guys. Next, we're going to have our furnace intake and outtake. It is recommended that you get mud dauber screens. The reason for that is because mud daubers can get inside, build nests, and that can cause issues where the furnace would have to be taken out to be inspected, fixed, and cleaned. The other thing is, wasps can fly through there and get inside the camper through there. They do provide an outside 110 connection. This is GFCI protected. Next, you do have your on-demand water heater. This is going to be your main switch. If this switch is not in the on position right now, like it is now, you would not be able to use the control inside. This here is going to be your pressure relief valve. A lot of times you're only going to use this whenever you go to winterize the camper. And once again, you would have this turned off when you go winterize this camper. That way it doesn't try to heat that antifreeze up. It is okay for antifreeze to go through this system. We do have our 30-amp power cord right here. That is yours to take with you. It does come with the coach. Next here is going to be our drain for the kitchen sink. Pretty much it's set up so you can just hook up a water hose and then you can set it in a bucket or run it downstream or into a hose or into a sewer line, however it may work for you. Next, you do have the outside shower, the options of hot and cold water. Down below, underneath here, is going to be where our low point drains are located. These are the lowest points of the water lines in the camper. When you're done camping, it doesn't hurt to open those up. Open up the faucet. As you drive home, that air will flow through and push any excess water out so you don't have any stagnant water in the line. It's also, you want to use that when you go to winterize the coach as well. You'll see these guys on all four corners of the camper. This is pretty much the power for both the lift arms and for the stabilizer jacks or the jacks. I'm going to show you how to operate those here in just a moment. We're going to go around to the other side here. On the other side, we pretty much have our awning here. This guy is going to be manual using this crank handle here. This guy will only open so far, and then it does stop and lock in. This is pretty much all it does. There is no pitching, no tilting, no angling of that sort on this model. This guy here would just sit right inside your doorway. Next over here, we're going to have our propane tank. It is 120-pound cylinder. It does have the lock here to lock the door in. Then you have your antenna for the radio. All right, we will come back over here towards the door. So pretty much with the door here, you got your deadbolt. It's going to lock. And you got your door handle, and this is how you open and close the door from this handle here. This is going to be controlled by the purple key. Right here. The black key is going to operate the shower door. Next, we do have steps that can be mounted on here. This is going to usually be done whenever it is on the tow vehicle, or if you have this jacked up pretty high. Pretty much the steps. Just a little. Pretty much, it's always going to go on the outside here. You have 2 pins that come from the inside to the outside. Then you have your little R key to lock those in. Once this is on the tow vehicle, this does stretch out. There's 4 steps. Did have this up and tested yesterday to make sure that they work properly. It does have a little lock here, so you can lock it if need be. So once it's on the tow vehicle, depending on how much it swings, you could just leave these on there. I do recommend just taking it off and setting it inside the doorway so it isn't beating on the back of your truck. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about our lift systems here. Pretty much, you have the red one here that does come in the bag, and then you also have a white one. At this time, the white one, I am getting the battery replaced for that. But for the meantime, I can show you how to use it with this one here. Pretty much there's a little controller inside here. You would have to turn it on once the green light is on. Whenever you press this button up here at the top where it says select and stat, it'll show that it is red. Try to bring this in so you guys can try to see that. So red is going to control our soft top lift arms. And that's going to be here controlled by auxiliary one side to bring them up and to bring them down. When you go to bring these guys down, once this generally gets down to a certain point, what you will do is you will stop, you will go around and tuck all your fabric in. Kind of like inside this area here. So whenever it comes all the way down, which we will go ahead and show you that as well, so we can also show you how to lock them into place. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and stop. I'm going to go around and get my fabric all tucked in. Looks like we need to go up just a little bit here for this front. Get that guy tucked back in. The front does usually sit a little lower due to where the front arms is positioned. Don't worry about the water running off. That's the condensation from the air conditioner. Once you have that tucked all the way completely in, you'll go ahead and bring it the rest of the way down. Once it's locked in, from there you will go to all four corners and you will lock your guys in pretty much like so. And then you can have little locks you can buy to put on these. They're already provided. But if you were to lose these, just try to get yourself an O snap ring to help lock those in. Like so. We'll go ahead and raise this up a little bit so I can kind of try to show you some of the other things. This guy does have its own stop position when you are extending them up. Alright, so now we need to switch so we're able to get on and off the tow vehicle. To do that, we're going to press that select and stat button. We're just going to press and hold it till it changes to green. As you see, it just changed from green. Now from there, you're able to use these guys here where it's going to control all four, and it'll lift the unit up completely at all four corners of the jacks. You also can control just the fronts and just the rears individually. I usually like to elevate that front just a little higher, just because there isn't really no support underneath where the bed is. So I just like to have that slight little elevation, but pretty much to raise and to lower. Alright, next when we step inside, we're going to have our fire extinguisher located here. Our GFCI, so if for some reason our outlets ain't working, come make sure this guy is not tripped. This here is going to be the water heater control panel. If that switch is on outside, this would not be lit up. To turn it on and to turn it off. You can adjust the temperature setting, and its max setting is 124 degrees. And then this is so you can change it between Celsius and Fahrenheit. We do got our sink here. Do got the sink here. Do please be mindful of your entry door. It is not very high. You got your stove here. You do have to use a barbecue lighter to light it. Pretty much you're just going to turn this guy to the light position. Once it's lit, you can set your temperature. Always make sure this is going to be down during travel, and this is not a glass stove top. You do have these storage compartments up here. One thing to note with, this is kind of like a shelf. This one here is for like canned goods or any other thing you might to put in here. Just note, just try not to pack it because this does collapse whenever you bring that top down. Your other two here have enough space. Whenever it comes down, there's enough space here for those. This here is going to be where your furnace is located. This is the only place where your heat will come out. That's going to be controlled from the thermostat on this side. Pretty much it's in the off position now. It'll have a click, and then from there you can just set your temperature. While we're also over here, we got our radio that is Bluetooth syncable. It does have an HDMI port, so you can kind of try to tie in for like the surround sound for a movie if you decide to put a TV in here. which it would have to be a stand-up model. There is no antenna, anything along those lines. This little piece right here is going to be pretty much for the hole for the table. So if you were to remove the table, your leg would come out. So our table pops off here. This guy will spin and then come out. You can set that here. You can also set this down here if you wanted to as well. You can put that cap in there. Here you're going to have this wooden piece here. That pretty much will just set right there. This cushion here, and you now have a secondary bed. That guy can also sit here as well if you're using it. You just do have to make sure you raise your blinds so you don't destroy, damage the blinds. Just trying to make sure that gets lined up, and then as you twist this, it will lock it in. Of course, I didn't let it get underneath there. There we go. Nice and solid. I gotta go back on there. This here is your fire exit window, so if you cannot make it to the entry door, you do have a way to escape. All your little windows here on the soft side also do open up just by unzipping those. But then you do have the shade by unstrapping the Velcro, and those guys would fall down and give you that shade. Your speakers for the radio is going to be located here. Down below, this switch down here is going to control the water pump. The only time you're using the water pumps if you're using the fresh water tank. If you're hooked to city water, you do not need to use that guy. Also, here is going to be your solar panel control box. All this guy pretty much does is it lets communicates with the battery, and it lets it know and to send that charge from the panels through to help charge the batteries when they require it. Next, you got your carbon monoxide and LP detector. It is always good to test it. That's what that warning sticker is for. It will go off again, and then it should go off one more time. And from there, we just perform the test to make sure that it's working like it should. Next to that is going to be our fuse panel box. Anything that runs off the 110 or Sure Power will be on breakers. Anything that runs off the fuses or off the 12-volt battery is going to be on your fuses, and everything is labeled right here for you. Underneath here is going to be where your fresh water tank is. And on the other side is where your battery boxes are located. At this time, there is only one 24 series battery in this camper. It is equipped to have two. If you install a second one, you do want to have jumpers to go so that both batteries can charge. Whenever you go to drain the fresh water tank, that's going to be located down here at the bottom. There's a plug here. It might be a little difficult to see. It's just a little black handle. Pull it up to start draining the tank, and down is to lock it so the water wouldn't drain out. I just went ahead and opened it to start draining the fresh water out. You also have your hose here for the winterizing. Whenever you're going to do that, you're going to have your bucket of antifreeze. You're going to stick this guy in, and then there's a valve right here that you turn to that hose. From there, you're going to use the water pump to winterize the coach. Nice thing is, the only thing you really got to worry about winterizing is mainly the water heater and this sink right here. So for the most part, you should be able to get by with maybe anywhere between 1 to 2 gallons of antifreeze. These are held in place by, they get screwed in. So pretty much we got our 4 screws here. They do kind of blend in with the carpet, so always just kind of be mindful when you look at those. Real quick, we're going to talk about the fridge right here. Pretty much open it. This is going to be your handle to open it. You got your fridge part here, and then the freezer up above with our instruction manual inside the freezer. This guy here has different controls. Pretty much you got your on and off. From there you have the option of auto. In auto position, it is always looking for 110. When you unplug, it will switch over to propane if the tank is on. If the tank is not on, then it will switch to DC, which will use the 12-volt power to keep it going as well. You can also change it to just gas, or whenever you turn the auto off, you can switch it to DC or gas. We usually recommend that auto setting. If the check light comes on, for some reason it did not fire on propane. From there you just want to make sure that you turn the canister on or the tank is empty. And then over here is going to be our temperature setting, 5 being the coldest. Once you get it good and cold, 3 and 4 is usually a pretty good temperature for that. You do got storage here, you got a drawer here. Then up above, on each side, you do have storage as well. Let's see. And from there, we have pretty much went around the coach and the unit. If you guys do have any questions, please feel free to call, and we'll do our best to answer them for you over the phone. Thank you and have a wonderful day.